chicken gnocchi soup, honey.
Oh, chicken gnocchi. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
one of my
Can you see it?
favorites.
Can you? Is
Yes,
all
that's
right.
one of
It's
my
still
favorites.
cooking. And
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm missing out.
hi, everyone. Welcome to Val's Kitchen. I'm Val, and this is my kitchen. Today we're making better than Olive Garden's chicken gnocchi soup. It really is better than the Olive Garden's chicken gnocchi soup. If you like their soup, you're gonna love this soup. All right, so what I like to do with this soup, I've got to get my recipe. Yes, I created this recipe, but I still follow it because I don't remember everything totally. So, but what I like to do is make my own chicken broth. Yes, you can use chicken broth from the store, but if you use your own chicken broth, it's gonna taste a lot better. You're not gonna get the final product that I get. And you know what's in it. All right, so I'm gonna do I'm just gonna make the quick broth. I'm using 3 cups of water, and I've added some salt and pepper. I'm going to add some chopped onion and about 3 stalks of celery, and boneless chicken thighs is what I like to use. I've done it with the chicken tenders, and it came out good, but the chicken thighs gives the broth a better flavor. And if you like the chicken gnocchi soup at Olive Garden, they are using the chicken thighs. It's the dark meat, it's not the white meat in there. What I'm gonna do is I've already gotten 3 cups of water in my little pot here. I've added some salt, some pepper. I'm gonna chop up an onion, the celery, garlic, and I'm just gonna put these, the chicken thighs right in there. And I know they look fatty, but that's gonna probably boil off. And if it's still on there when I take it out, I'll probably cut it off and throw it away because I don't like that either. So I'm putting those directly in there. And I'm gonna start cooking this on a medium high because I wanna get it going. But use this hand. I'm gonna put it on like between 6 and 7, get it started. Once it starts boiling high, I'll probably turn it down. We're gonna cook this until the chicken is cooked through. We're gonna see how long that takes, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And a lot of times, if I'm planning to make chicken gnocchi soup after work, I'll have this done ahead of time. I'll make my broth a day, 2 days, 3 days ahead of time. It'll be fine, it'll stay good in the refrigerator. And this way you can make it after work. Let me get rid of this and wash my hands, hold on. All right, so I'm chopping up the onion. Nice sized chunks. I mean, not too big, not too small. And we're only going to be using 2 cups of this broth for the soup. So if it doesn't boil all out and you still have a cup, you might have like a 3/4 cup left. I've actually eaten that for lunch before. I like to just eat the broth. I like that. So the onion goes in. All the onion, we don't want to miss any of it. So I've already chopped my celery up previously, actually last night. So I'm gonna put about 3 stalks of the celery in there. And I even chop up the leaves. The leaves will help with the flavor. You know, when the inside stalks of celery have those nice leaves, the inside tender part, I put that in there too. Gives it flavor. So I've got that. And I'm gonna do about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. I know, everything I cook has garlic in it. But guess what? We're all healthy, aren't we? We keep those vampires away. Thing is with garlic, when you have it in with your food, if everyone's eating it, nobody will smell the garlic breath, so don't worry. I'm using my wonderful crusher that I love so much. I showed you my garlic crusher in the marinara sauce episode. And it's my favorite thing. Okay, so we got all that garlic. I'm gonna scrape that into this pot here for our broth. And you know, this recipe for the chicken gnocchi soup, it calls for shredded carrot. Now I don't usually put carrot in with my broth, but you know what? I've got a lot of extra carrots. I'm probably gonna put maybe 1 or 2 shredded carrots in there. It'll give the broth good flavor. And that's the thing with cooking. You kind of work with what you have. I mean, you can't replace a carrot with a different vegetable. I wouldn't want to put a sweet potato in there. But since I had a lot of carrots and I wanted to use them up, why not just stick 2 shredded carrots into the broth? It's only going to give it some better flavor, okay? Got to be careful when you get down to the end. Might eat that one later. We just want to shred this up here. And this is how the Olive Garden has they have the shredded carrots. So I've done it too. I've done it with the chunks. And I don't know, the shredded just kind of gives it a different kind of texture and flavor. And I do like it that way. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this carrot in just because it's gonna help the flavor. And I had it, and it's healthy. I'm always trying to sneak in those extra vegetables. So we're gonna let this cook. It's probably gonna take about 30 minutes. I'll take a look at the time. I'll let you know exactly how long. Put it up to 8 until it gets to a good boil. We want that chicken to be cooked before we pull it out and chop it up to put into the soup, even though it cooks a little bit more in the soup. So, all right, we'll be back in a minute. All right, so it ended up, I think about 45 minutes is enough time. Probably if I had done this ahead of time, I would want it for an hour cooking in that broth. But at least 45 minutes to cook the chicken thighs. And you want to chop them up into small pieces. You don't want to have a big chunk of chicken. So I like it into small pieces. Doesn't have to be all the same size. Now, if you were doing this ahead of time, you would just take it out of the broth, chop it up like this, and put this in a container in the fridge for when you're ready to cook the soup. This chicken gnocchi soup is very hearty because the gnocchi is made out of potato and you've got some half and half in here and milk. So it will be very filling. And I like to serve it with like a salad. I never do a full meal, like I never do like an entree with it. All right, so I think we're about ready to start the soup. Let me move this over. Ooh, we're also having a bread, I better check on that. Okay, put your pot on medium heat. Let it warm up a bit. We're gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter to the hot pot. So we're gonna heat up the butter. Once the butter melts, we're gonna saute the onion, the celery, the carrots, and the garlic. All right, I think the pot is hot enough. I'm gonna dump in the 4 tablespoons of butter. And Bella's by my feet waiting. No, I don't think you'd like the onion once it fell. Need the butter to melt. Once that's melted, we're gonna put in the onion, the carrots, the garlic, and the celery. All right, put the onion in there. Garlic, celery, you can see that the onions are ready and they're translucent. Add 4 tablespoons of flour. Mix it in, let it cook for about a minute now. Then we're adding 2 cups of milk. Give that a quick stir. Then we need 2 cups of half and half. All right, stir that, scraping the bottom. We're gonna bring this to a simmer. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes to get the milks to simmer. And then we're gonna add the chicken and we're gonna wait for it to become thicker. We want a nice thick soup. Look how beautiful it stays when you freeze it. Now, once it defrosts, it will start getting really soft. And it works for this recipe because it's being cooked. I wouldn't want to use frozen basil in a salad. Still waiting for this to come to a simmer before I add the chicken. I'll go ahead and chop up this basil slightly. The steam, you can see the steam coming up. It's coming to a simmer. It's ready for me to add the chicken. There we go. Oh yeah. Get that all in there. Stir that up. We're gonna cook this through till the soup gets thicker. We want it to get a little bit thicker, and then we'll be adding the broth. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoop out the 2 cups of broth that I need and get all that goodness in with it. It's fine. It's got the onions and the carrots and the celery. Like I said, you don't have to put the carrots in, but today I had extra. So we're gonna measure out. I'm hoping there's some left over because I want to have it for lunch tomorrow just like this. I just want broth, but there's not going to be that much. It cooked a lot out. 2 cups. Well, I've got a little snack for tomorrow. Heat that up. It's good. All right, so we're going to hold this to the side until this thickens up a little bit. Looks like it's getting there almost already. All right, let's give it a couple of minutes. It's starting to steam again. That will start with the, once it starts steaming like that, it starts to get thicker. But we're gonna give it a little bit more time. I know there's a few extra steps in here and it may seem like this takes a long time, but it really doesn't. This is definitely an after work meal. I've done it many times. Okay, I think this is getting thick enough. I'm gonna add the broth and then let it come back to a simmer and get thicker again. All right, there we go. Let's see. Oh yeah. And even if you wanted to, if you just had this little bit of broth left over, if you want to add that too, it'll be fine. I don't think I would add more than an extra ½ cup because you want it to get thick and you wouldn't have enough flour in there to thicken it up. You'd have to add more butter and flour so that it would get thicker. Now's the time to check. You want to check for your salt. See you put salt in your broth, so that's going to help bring this to make the soup have a little bit of salt flavor. But you do want to taste it at this point, and you don't want to serve it where people have to add their own salt. I feel like it needs a little bit of a sprinkle of salt still, which at the end we do add salt and pepper, but I'm gonna go ahead and add that now just to give it a, there, just to see. Because you don't want to serve dinner where everybody has to add their own salt and pepper. It should be, I never put salt on the table because I think everything should already be flavored to the point. And you don't want to have anything too salty, so be careful with the salt too. We're waiting for this to start coming to a thicker boil and to a little bit of a boil. And then we're gonna add the gnocchi, which I had to the side. Let's go ahead and grab that, I could show you. So I already cooked the gnocchi ahead of time. And like I said, I rinsed it in cold water so that they wouldn't all stick together. Otherwise it's one big clump. I don't know if you could see that, how they're all separate. And that'll be good because you don't want a big clump in your soup. And then we're gonna add the spinach and the basil, and we're gonna add a little bit more salt, I'm sure. I'm gonna taste it again, and a little bit of pepper. And I like to add now a dash. I'll show you what a dash is. You'll have to get that on camera. I'm gonna just do like a dash of nutmeg. You don't wanna overdo it, but there's something about nutmeg with a cream sauce that gives it a more unique flavor. You're gonna like that, okay? Oh, we're starting to get a bubble. We're getting it bubble. Almost time to eat. Now you want to keep an eye on it. It's coming to a good boil now. You see those bubbles? I've been stirring it. It's only been about 4 minutes. There we go. It's time to add the spinach and the gnocchi and the basil. There we go. Oh, this is such a thick and hearty soup. It's so delicious. That's why having the vegetables with it is so refreshing. Okay, now we're gonna cook that spinach down. Look at this beautiful soup. Oh yeah. Okay. Look at that. The spinach is gonna cook down. I'm gonna add, let me show you a dash, what a dash of nutmeg is. That's a dash. That's it. That's probably a little bit bigger than a dash. I'm adding a little bit of salt. Oh, sorry. Hey, is he on camera?
Did I catch you in the middle of taping?
Yes, we are. We've had a late start. No, we had a late start. I think he can. I think you're in it right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting hungry.
Are you still here?
Yeah, but it just says paused.
I don't know how to get you back. There you are. Okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you see the table?
Yes.
See, that's the hummus I let you taste test last night with all the vegetables.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
There's Sam.
Yeah. Well, I'm missing out. I'll let you guys get back to
All right.
that wonderful, wonderful cooking instructions.
Yes. All right.
Here I'm eating cold boiled eggs. So.
Mmm.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, needs a little salt.
Are you sure it doesn't need a little garlic?
Oh, it's got about 8 things of garlic in here. We're good. Oh, okay. All right. So now it's ready. It's ready to go. I just want to taste again for salt. I still need a little sprinkle. All right, that'll do it. All right, guys, we ready to eat? Because we're all hungry. It's late tonight. So we're gonna have chicken gnocchi. I made an Italian bread, so we're gonna have some bread on the side with our veggies and hummus. Time to eat. Better than Olive Garden chicken gnocchi soup. Cook the gnocchi according to package directions, drain and set aside. Heat butter over medium heat in soup pot. Sauté the onions, celery, carrot, and garlic until the onion is translucent. Add the flour and cook for about 1 minute. Add the half and half and milk. Bring to a simmer, then add the chicken. Once the mixture becomes thick, add the chicken broth. Once the mixture thickens again, add the cooked gnocchi, spinach, basil, and seasonings. Then simmer until the soup is heated through. Hi guys, thanks for coming to my kitchen. Hope you enjoy the chicken gnocchi soup as much as we do. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check out some other videos on our channel. See you next time.